Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been such a long time since I filmed a video for you guys, so I'm really excited. I had a really good reading month in July, so I thought what better way to back into making videos than with a classic wrap up. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about all the books that I read in July, books that I loved, books I didn't love, all that good stuff. So yeah, let's just get into it. So if you've seen my videos, you might know that I was traveling for most of July and a tiny bit of August, so I read pretty much everything on my Kindle. So I'm going to insert the books up here or up here, I don't know. I read 9 books in the month of July, so it was a good amount. The first book that I read in the month of July was Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Okay, how do I begin? So I had heard so many things about this book for a long time. I feel like everyone's already read this book or loves this book and all those things, and I was kind of nervous to read it because I wasn't sure if I'd like it or if it broke me, because I know a lot of people cry, and I did cry, which I didn't expect. I didn't think I was going to cry, and I was near the end and I was like, oh, this didn't make me cry, and then it got me. Just snuck up on me in the middle of nowhere and I was sobbing, and yeah, you just don't expect it. It really gives you a plot twist and then another plot twist and then another plot twist. Yeah. Can you tell I'm passionate? It is about Bree and Archer. They are 2 main characters in this book. We read it through Bree's point of view. She moves to this town, meets this guy called Archer. But Archer's kind of unique. I don't know if it says it on the back, because again I read it on my Kindle, so I'm not going to explain why Archer's unique, but basically you start to learn about his childhood, you start to learn about Bree's past and why she's moved to this town, and there's a lot, but it is really good. I didn't think I would like it, and I loved it. I really loved it so much. I think the ending brought it down for me a tiny bit. I think it saved my heart from breaking too much, but a lot of the books I read this month, I feel like the meaning was tarnished by the ending, because I think the ending was rushed or it wasn't closed up as nicely as I would enjoy. Nonetheless, it was a really good book. I loved it. It just kept throwing me, and I think it was a really good commentary on how you're shaped by your environment. And then, okay, hear me out. I know that Mia Sheridan wrote a book called Travis, and it is about a guy, he's basically the mean kind of bad guy in the book, and yes, what he did is horrible, okay, but this is my mindset. It's like, oh, I can save him mentality, but I just think I think he was raised to be this way. I think he did some awful stuff. I don't condone anything and I don't like him, but I think that I might like the redemption story just because I think, I don't know, she wrote one for a reason. Maybe it's going to be waffle, maybe it won't be good, but I'm going to give it a try because I need to know more about Travis as a person. Nothing to do with their story, because he was an awful person in their story, but yeah, I think there's more to learn about him. But yeah, that was Archer's Voice. I loved it. I didn't think I would, and it was amazing. Okay, next book that I read was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I really loved Icebreaker. It was really good. Hockey romance, figure skating. The romance was so good. I am so excited for the release of the next standalone, which will be revolving around the main character's friends, which I'm so excited for. My neighbours are building something, I don't know, outside, so I really hope that you can hear it, but we will just have to see. So yeah, Icebreaker, I loved it. It was my first hockey romance and it was really successful, so now I understand the hype, and yeah, I would highly recommend. So maybe we're just not filming. Look, I hope whatever they're building is cool, because the next book that I read was Biotread by Lucy Score. I loved this book so much. It is one of my favorites. It is so funny. The romance was so good. I loved Lucy Score's characters in this book, especially her female characters. They were just such strong, funny women. They were feisty. This book was like The Devil Wears Prada. And the thing is, I did not like Things We Never Got Over. No. So I was kind of like, am I ever going to read another Lucy Score book? And I probably wasn't going to, but I loved it. Okay, I think we're going to be doing this in like intermittent stages, but you're not going to know, so that's fine. So they've stopped, so let's keep going. The next book that I read was Reckless by Elsie Silver. I adored this book. I think this is my second favourite in the 4 books. Well, actually, I tell a lie. I haven't read the third one yet, just because Reckless was recommended to me in the last video, so that's what I read. I know you don't have to read them in order, so I still have to read the third book in this series, but I will be doing so because I adore the Chestnut Spring series. It is so good, and I think it deserves the hype that it gets. I don't think the first one was my favourite, but it was Heartless. Heartless did it for me. I love Heartless so much. It is my favourite, and yeah, I thought the same about Reckless. I thought it was a really good book. I heard a few people saying that the way some people explain the trope of this book is a spoiler, and I don't know if that's true. So I don't think I'm going to explain the trope, but if you read into it or if you look it up and I might say it, then it was a trope I didn't think I'd love, and I really, really did. So if you look it up and kind of get more insight into it and you think you might not like it, I think still give it a go, because I didn't think that I would enjoy the second book, Heartless, because it was a single dad trope, and don't worry, that's known from the beginning, and I did really enjoy it. Next book that I read was the first book in the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I initially wanted to read this because I was planning on reading all 3 before the second season of the TV show came out, but I still haven't even watched the second season and I only read the first book, but that's okay. It was really good. It was a really cute book, fast paced, and since I had already seen season 1, I kind of had a good idea of what was already going on. I think we got to see a better insight into the characters, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked seeing the differences between the book and the TV series, and I'll definitely continue on with the series. Obviously that did not happen this month as planned, but maybe this month, who knows. Okay, so now we're switching up genres a good bit. The next 2 books are 2 thrillers, and I just wanted something really fast paced. I was finding it hard because I'd read so many romances back to back. So that book was The Housemaid. Now, I'm sure you've heard of this book. Everyone has. I'd heard about it everywhere, and I'm really glad I read it. I loved it. The Housemaid was basically about a girl. She had a kind of sketchy past, so she's finding it hard to get a job, so she gets hired by this rich family to work as their housemaid, and things are not what they seem. Initially they're this perfect family, but then soon things get really suspicious. You start hating one of the characters. You think she's this evil, awful person, and then everything escalates and it's just crazy. Yeah, that's all I can say. I could not stop reading it. I think I read it in a day and a half. Yeah, it had me. I stayed up so late trying to finish it because I had to know what was going on. It was really, really good. I loved it. If you're looking for a fast-paced thriller that you can't guess, keeping you on your toes, I would recommend this book. So after this book, I was on my thriller grind. I read The Inmate by Frida McFadden, and oh my god. I hated how it ended, but it was you start off and suddenly you're he did it, no he did it, no they did it, no this, and what you think is the ending is completely thrown off halfway, and then you think it's a new ending and then that's thrown off, but everything you think is happening is completely scrapped and you're left completely clueless every single time. The ending was a bit weird, the actual finding out what actually happened was it's basically about a girl. She's a nurse and she has to go and work in a maximum security prison in her hometown, and it turns out a person who's in that prison is a really significant figure in her past, and we basically have to follow why he's there. Did he do it? Did he not do it? All that good stuff. And it was really, really good. So we are finally on the last book, and thankfully, for maybe a switch up from the lovely Kindle, we have a physical copy of a book, and that book was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This was my favourite book of the entire month, and the last book that I read in the month. Or no, I'm forgetting a whole book. This was my favourite book regardless of the month. I read one more after this, and yeah, I loved this book so much. I cannot wait to read Yours Truly. This book is about Alexis and Daniel, and there's a little bit of an age gap in this romance, and basically they live two completely contrasting lives. Alexis is basically part of this huge family legacy in the medical field, and Daniel lives in this small town, and he is kind of carrying on a legacy of some sorts for his family, but they live completely different lives. Daniel has a B&B and animals and a goat and all these good things, and it's just this tiny little town. They all help each other. It's very much like a Gilmore Girls town. It's very much Stars Hollow type of town, and I loved that because that's one of my favourite shows. And yeah, you just watch them trying to make things work for so long, and it can even get frustrating at times, but not frustrating in the way that I wanted to stop, in the way that I wanted to go into this book and help them figure everything out, because their love is so perfect. Their situation for their love is not perfect, but them themselves and their pure selves, they are just perfect for each other, and there's so many things that are going against them in their lives, and I think that made it even better, seeing how they were able to work through it, even though there's a lot of like sad parts. And yeah, I would really, really recommend that anyone reads this book. It was a 5 stars for me, and I'm so excited to read Yours Truly. I adored Abby Jimenez's writing, and her writing reminded me a lot of Emily Henry's, so it was perfect. Her characters are so well developed, and I love the themes that she explored in this book. If you read any of the books in this video, please make it this one. I adored it, and it turned out to be my favourite book of the month. So yeah, take that as how you will. It was amazing, and I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. The final book that I read was When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I didn't love When in Rome. It was fine, but it was fine. That's about it. I was really liking it at the start. I genuinely think if I had read it maybe during the college year when I'm like really busy and all these things, and I just really need a light, easy book, I think I would have enjoyed it more. I just think because it's summer, I was relaxed, and I was just after reading Part of Your World, I think it just fell flat for me a little bit. It was good. I'd still recommend it, but I think, yeah. Do you know what? I did really enjoy it when I got into it, but it took me a long time to get into it each time I opened the book, if that makes sense. So I guess I'm contradicting myself, kind of saying that I didn't like it, but then I'm saying it was really good. I think it was really good. I just think I would have liked it even more if I had read it at a different time, but I would still definitely recommend it to anyone. I just think it took me a little bit to get into it. So guys, those are all the books that I read in the month of July. As you can see, if you've gotten this far, it was an extremely successful reading month. I had so many new favourites, amazing reads that I would recommend to everyone. I feel like none of these books I wouldn't recommend to you guys, and yeah, let me know if you give any of them a go, what books you read in July, and yeah, I can't wait to see what the month of August brings for us in terms of reading. And I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff if you would like. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.